Welcome back. This is Sandy with Sandy's Organized Chaos, and today we are going to be using dish soap. I've been wanting to use dish soap outside of the norm for quite a while, so I'm pretty excited for this project. As always, I make sure to put everything in the description box if you want to recreate this item. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and let's go ahead and wake up, prep these tumblers, and slay all day. Let's do this. Today we're going to be using dish soap. So I know we've all been using dish soap over the years. We could drizzle it down, or we can use the foaming spray to make really cool patterns, but I wanted to try something a little bit different. It's a great opportunity to use tumblers you have just sitting around that already have epoxy over it and are ready to go and have something fun done to it. So with the drizzling and the foam power wash, you really don't have too much control over where that sprays and drizzles. So my idea is to use these fine tip applicators and fill it with any dish soap. It doesn't matter. This happens to be the Costco brand. You could use even stuff from Dollar Tree. It does not matter. Either way, it works exactly the same. All it is just a masking agent for painting over top. So the idea is to use the fine tip applicator to have more control and make whatever design and pattern you would like on your project. All right, she's all filled up, and now we are going to take it outside. So I'm working with a yellow base, so my idea is to use two different colors. I'm going to use white, and I'm also going to use a purple. I'm using this dreamy lavender, but of course, whatever colors you have going on in your project, you want to coordinate with that. So of course you have your soap, you're also going to need your spray paints, and you're also going to need a water source, so either a hose, a bucket full of water, or a sink. Always, always, always shake your cans and test them before you start your project. Everything's all prepped and ready to go. We have our dish soap here, and we're ready to start with our designs. There's so many different abstract things you can make on this: polka dots, circles, triangles, squares, but I'm doing a star key pattern. It was definitely a little bit difficult to see on this first round here. I kind of wish I would have tinted the soap with something, maybe a little bit of acrylic paint or something. I didn't want to use any type of dyes or alcohol inks just for the potential of it possibly staining the epoxy surface. But it is what it is, and I just kept on going. Now my idea was to completely fill this up, but again, it was a little difficult to see, so there was areas where it didn't get completely filled in, but it still worked out in the end. And as you notice, this is how fast I went. It didn't really drip too far. I wasn't really concerned with that. It did, obviously it did lay flat a little bit for me as I kept going, but honestly, it all stayed relatively in the same spot that I put it, which was nice. All right, we're done laying down our pattern with our soap, and now we're going to go ahead and pick up our main color because I am using two different colors here. I'm going to go ahead and fully load up my tumbler with this purple because that was my main focal color here to begin with. And after you get spraying, you're going to notice that soap doing its job of masking off the areas that we want our pattern. And moving right into the white right after I do the purple, I'm going to go ahead and just give a very light coating of this white over top of the purple because I do plan on coming through and distressing it a bit after we go back inside. But you can really notice the soap really hasn't moved around too much, and I've had it up, I've had it down, I've had it turned to the side like this, and it really hasn't shifted. After I sprayed the white, I just kind of turned it in my hand, I don't know, for about 20 seconds or so. Then we're going to go ahead and get our water source going. And then we're going to just go ahead and wash off all the dish soap right off your project. If you're dunking it down into a bucket or a sink, you can just use your hand and kind of wipe over it. I just like to do the high pressure of the hose to make sure I get everything off. And there we go. We got this first layer going for us. So this is what it looks like up close. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry outside. I don't know. In this heat here in Southwest Florida, I let it dry for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to move on to the next step. To add a little bit more texture and dimension to our look, I'm going to go ahead and give it a distress look. I'm going to use 100% acetone and some rubbing alcohol. The 100% acetone is going to wipe away a lot, while the rubbing alcohol only wipes away a little. So I'm just going to start off with my 100% acetone, and I'm just going to go around areas that I want a little bit more exposed, maybe exposing a little bit more of the purple, rubbing away everything down to the glitter portion itself. It's really all up to you on how you want to get this going. I just wanted to add just a little bit more to it. That's all I knew. Now, sometimes the paint comes off with ease, so you got to be careful when you first get started, but sometimes you really got to put some elbow grease into getting this distressed, which this one in particular, I really had to put on some elbow grease. I think it's because I layered on my paint, but if it was one layer of paint, it's going to come off a lot easier, so just be careful with it as you get going. You'll get used to it, and then you'll figure out how much pressure you need to apply or how much you want to take away at one time. So the acetone I used to do the major distressing and the rubbing alcohol I'm going to use to clean up all my areas. So I'm going to go ahead and use my rubbing alcohol. I'm going to wipe away any haze that might be on the glitter itself. You'll notice a difference. You'll see the difference in the shine of the glitter as you get going. And then you can also clean up the painted areas as well. If it seemed too streaky, you can use it to just gently clean up the streakiness of the paint. Now you guys know me, I like to do things in layers, so we are going to go ahead and get this epoxy, but look at this first layer. That is so cute actually the way it is, but of course I wanted to add a little bit more to it and see how far I could take it. So we're going to go ahead and get our epoxy on. And of course I added a little bit of glitter into my epoxy. What did I add? I just added like a holographic silver, an ultra fine glitter, and then this pretty purple from PDB Creative Studio. I thought it just looked really nice. So we're gonna go ahead and let that turn and cure, and then we're gonna move on to our next layering process. So for this round, I just went and I looked at the decals I plan on using. I wanted to bring a little bit more of the colorings that are in those. So I'm going to use that pretty vintage blue, and I'm also going to use this pretty candy pink. So we are going to do the same exact pattern that we did on the first round. I did contemplate doing a different pattern, like polka dots or something, but I decided to stay with the same exact pattern as the first round. It was also a lot easier to see this round, seeing as the coloring was a bit darker than the bright yellow we had before. Now I'm not going to be fully loading up the spray paint, which I'll show you guys here in a minute. I just wanted to do blotches of the paint here and there just to add a little bit of extra color to match our scheme that we have going, but I'm still going to fully load up the tumbler with the soap because I honestly don't know where I wanted to spray. You know, I just kind of go on a whim with these things. So I wanted to make sure that the full thing was fully loaded, and then I could just go from there as to where I wanted everything to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my blue, and I'm just gonna do blotches here and there. Again, I'm not like overly concerned of covering up too much because there is a lot of the soap on here this time. So a lot of it is gonna get wiped away anyways. So this is just going to add just little details of the coloring. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that sprayed on. And then I'm going to come through with the candy pink. And I was worried the candy pink was going to be too light, but you could tell it was pink once after I got spraying. I was worried it was going to look more white than anything, but it does look pink. And of course I just held on to it for about 20 seconds or so, and then we're going to spray off all the soap. And after you get it sprayed off, if you're like, I want to add a little bit more, don't be afraid to do that. Go ahead, add more soap, add more colors, do whatever you would like to do. That's the great thing about art. There is no right or wrong. You just do it right over this layer. You don't need to add another coating of epoxy. The only reason why I added epoxy the first round is because I wanted to add the glitter down into it, and I wanted the glitter to be behind this paint. But I absolutely love how this turned out. I'm glad I kept the same pattern going because honestly, it almost looks to me like tie-dye. But I love how much depth there is to it. I love how the liquid soap just kind of spread out a little bit and exposed a little bit more here and there, and just the designs that it gave. I really enjoyed doing this. So now we're going to go ahead and put the decals down that we want to go over the surface of our project. I'm not even gonna lie, I am obsessed with UVDTFs. I just like, I don't want to use anything else. I don't even want to use my Cricut anymore, you know? I don't know if you guys feel the same way too, but I got these from Hobby Lobby, but there are some small businesses I also like to purchase from as well. But you're just gonna take the decals that you've chosen and you're gonna layer this on to however you would like to do it. I'm just gonna randomly place mine. I thought it was super cute. It really goes with that fun, vibrant feel of everything. Now, before you get your last finishing coats of epoxy on, you want to make sure that you spray seal your decals because the epoxy will want to wick away off of these decals. They're very slick. But then after that, I added a little bit of this light year and then some more ultra fine glitter. I'm going to let that turn, and there she goes. She's ready to go. Whether you take this design and duplicate it as is, or you take it and let it inspire you to create something that is completely your own, I hope that you guys had a lot of fun watching this tutorial today. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.